Hi there. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Media Champions here on Daily Ad Brief. I'm your host, Mary Therese Griffin. Today, we're going to Orlando, Florida, where we are going to meet our friend Josh Jones, who is with us. He is the founder of Digital Advertising. Josh, thank you and welcome to Media Champions.
Hey, thank you for having me. How are you?
I am great. I'm very happy to be talking to you because I know you know how to navigate customers through this wacky world that we like to call marketing and media and advertising. How do you approach a new customer? Let's say you're going to have the opportunity to give your elevator pitch. Go ahead and give it to me, Josh. Tell me about your agency and what you tell a customer for the first time.
Well, digitaladvertising.io is one of the fastest growing agencies in the Southeast. We specialize in e-commerce, legal, higher ed, and a host of other verticals, but we help take you from a small brand to a large brand very quickly.
What is an advantage, Josh, to working with a company like yours, even if a company has an in-house marketing team or media team? What is an advantage to working with a company like yours? Because there are huge advantages.
Correct. For us, we're very data driven. We like to coin the phrase the next best dollar in. So every dollar that you spend in digital advertising, you'll have a story attached to it with analytics on the back end. So we can track everything from the first initial contact of a customer for your website until they become a paying client and or customer. And then on the back end, if they return, so we can attract or really track that lifetime value. So we put all of that into a story. And every month when we meet and we go over the analytics, you'll begin to see that story for your brand. And then you can make decisions based on that story. And it helps you just with your overall, day-to-day operations when you run your company and you know who your customer is and how that customer interacts with your brand on web. And so we like to really specialize in that. And we take pride in really being able to tell that story.
It seems to me that especially now, people coming out of COVID, they're having to operate in new and more efficient ways. When it comes to social media, are you surprised when people are really, I just want to say, lacking knowledge when it comes to how to spend that money, how to boost that post, when they should boost that post? Walk me through how you help them have that aha moment of what they should do.
Well, number one, to answer your question, I am not surprised. There's so much information out here. A lot of it is misinformation or old information. So the consumer really can't, disseminate what's real, what's current, and what's not. Now, how we walk a customer through is we take that customer from their journey point. We walk them from the eyes of or the standpoint of their customer. We take them through the funnel that they have set up currently. And then we walk them through the sales process themselves. We want them to be actually part of the process. We want them to understand it in a full turnkey way. So we walk them through it. We make them go through it as a customer. So when they hit certain pain points in the funnel, and if they drop off and say, I wouldn't buy here, then we go back and say, okay, well, this is where we're going to really patch that hole and plug it. And we're going to make these adjustments, whether it's copy, whether it's audience focus, anything of that nature, that where we can help make that hole in the funnel, we can make it better and we can stop that leak, and then, like I said, when we walk our client through it, they begin to see how it works and they begin to see how messaging and how really focusing on your audience at a certain time of day or certain images work. And so like I said, we bring them on the back end, we pull back the curtain per se, and we make them become believers in digital marketing because so many brands out here said they've spent so much money and they don't really have the anything to show for it from sales or long-term customer or being able to have that data on the back end. We walk them through it hand in hand and we make sure they fully understand the process that helps them build their brand as they move forward.
Well, it sounds to me like knowledge is power. And I'm just throwing this out there for you, Josh. Take it as your own. You should have Digital Advertising IO University because it sounds to me like that's what you're doing. You're actually educating people on how and when to spend their money and building that relationship. And I think that's key. Let's talk about relationships real quick. It's a digital world, but it's a relationship world as well.
It is. And, as a brand or brands in general have to be able to have that conversation that's, meaningful to their clients and to their audiences. I think that's something that a lot of brands have learned throughout COVID. You started to see brands go from something trivial in terms of what they posted, let's say at the organic sector, to something a little bit more meaningful. Now that people or the audience has responded, how do they carry that brand or that meaningful conversation into 2022, 23, and beyond? So that's where that, really that cultivation of understanding your audience, looking at the analytics, looking at and understanding about what your audience wants. Like I said, looking at all the keywords and phrases about how audience members get to your website. Looking at the backend analytics for Facebook or Twitter or whatever other social media platform, and understanding how they're interacting and why they're coming to you. All of that data helps you create that branding, that tone of voice. And that tone of voice will help dictate where you go in your conversation with the audience. And like I said, it has to be a little bit more natural moving forward. But we saw a lot of brands move towards that during COVID, and it worked really well. So now we have to keep that natural conversation going. And natural conversations in the organic sector, they create great ads at the paid sector. So it's really vital.
Yeah, you want to know how they do it, Josh? They do it by calling Josh Jones. That's how they do it. I think that's how they need to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Josh Jones. Thank you for sharing your subject matter expertise. We appreciate you carving out time for us today. And we hope you'll come back on the program.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime. Josh Jones and company are doing great things at Digital Advertising IO. If you want to make the connect with them, we can help you do that. You can go to dailyadbrief.com. We'll guide you there. Have a great day. Come back and see us for more Media Champions. I'm Mary Treese in Atlanta.